Ladies and gentlemen, good day, and welcome to Jyothy Laboratories Limited Q3 FY21 earnings conference call hosted by ICICI Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Manoj Menon, Head of Research and Consumer Analyst at ICICI Securities Limited. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Menon.
Hi, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to host the results conference call of Jyothy Labs at ISEC. Today, we have the management represented by Ms. M.R. Jyothy, Managing Director, Mr. Ullas Kamath, Joint Managing Director, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Chief Financial Officer. At ISEC, we have had a constructive view on Jyothy Labs as the business, as a stock for a long period of time. And the current results of 15% revenue growth in times like these is extremely pleasing to see. Our constructive view remains. Now over to the management for the opening remarks, and after that we'll have the Q&A. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Manoj. Friends, very good afternoon to all of you. Before we take you through the specific quarterly performance numbers, let me briefly update you on the sector trends we have observed from our ground level assessment. So we have witnessed, I'm sure our investor presentation would be in front of you, so I'll quickly go through that. So we have witnessed healthy consumer demand trends across home and personal care categories in which we are present. And the emphasis on health and hygiene immunity continues. Strong rural demand continues. And now also we have seen improved urban consumption trends, which were affected for the last 2-3 quarters. Specific to channels, growth was already there in general trade. Now we have seen gradual recovery coming back in institutional business, almost back to pre-COVID levels, which is a healthy sign for future. Two other interesting phenomena which we are observing. One, consumer channel preference is shifting towards omni-channel approach. And second, also there is an acceleration in adoption of digital technology. And technology, as all of us know, by construct is disruptive. So the same GT shopkeeper is also using a basic technology of, say, WhatsApp to reach out to consumers. So a lot of lines are getting blurred in the whole process. And further, all this data is helping us to do a very focused GTM. So accordingly, we have drawn a business strategy in sync with this changing environment and focusing on the same, which has delivered another quarter of our resilient performance. In terms of our portfolio, which is essential day-to-day household consumption, our focus was on do a very sharp execution and keeping a very strict focus on financial matters, which has led us to deliver a double-digit sales growth in Q3 of FY21. Moving on to the next slide on the portfolio, a diversified portfolio has helped us in outwitting the competition and also supported us in terms of the strategy for the whole organization. Backed by the strength of our portfolio, we have focused or reprioritized our go-to-market strategy. Say for urban, we have been more frequently servicing retailers, which helps them in better offtakes. In terms of the rural coverage, we've always been focusing on that. 40% of our business comes from rural, but we are now adding more sub-stockists, doing drives like van coverage to improve or enhance our rural coverage. In terms of new launches, we all have always focused on innovation and continuing that strategy on innovation. To add on in our hygiene portfolio, we have added Exo All Surface Cleaner, which has been launched in South of India. We'll talk in detail about it. Further, all this thing, digital has been the forefront, and I guess for all of us, the whole COVID period has accelerated the need and the adoption for it, and we have been quite focused on that to get all the sales efficiencies and focusing on the digital consumer engagement. In terms of the media spends, we have We've been speaking about it in the past, but this quarter we have actually stepped up on our media spends with a very clear strategic intent grow market share. And we have seen this quarter, now we don't have official numbers, but our internal estimates confirm, we believe that our market share across our categories have further improved. And lastly, but not the least, on the employee human resources, in these uncertain environment, keeping our teams fully motivated has been our key focus to continue our growth. In addition to keeping strict internal financial principles, we have also focused on improving how we can improve the ROI of the business partners so that they can have minimum stock and we can do frequent servicing at the retailer level. Keeping in mind our principle of no credit, so the entire business 100% on cash and carry, and all the primary sales are 100% backed by secondary numbers. So overall, we are happy that our Q3 numbers, we perform better than the previous year and also better than the Q1 and Q2 of this financial year as well on all the parameters. In terms of the specific numbers, our net sales are up by 13.3%, FMCG sale is up by 15.1%. Our gross margin has been flat at 48.8% in spite of inflationary pressures, mild inflationary pressures which we have been seeing in raw material. And this has been mitigated by building in efficiencies in our manufacturing operations and also higher contribution from our personal care portfolio. As part of our focused approach, as our brands are doing well, our A&P spend have increased by 40% to 35.3 in this quarter. And our EBITDA for this quarter stands at 16.7% versus 15.8 in the same period last year, and increased by 20.3%. Consequently, our PAT is up by 18.2% at 53 crores. Similarly, for the 9 months ended December 31st, our revenue is up by 7.3, FMCG business up by 8.9, operating EBITDA stands at healthy 17.2 versus 16% of the same period last year, as well as the PAT is at 163.4 crores, an increase by 20% over the last year. Moving on to the next slide on category-wise net revenue. So with respect to all the categories have started performing well. Fabric care 2.3, dishwash 21%, HI 10%, personal care 48%, leading to an overall growth of 15% in the FMCG business. The next slide is on a snapshot of our financial performance and key financial ratios. Just to sum it up again, revenue up on a consolidated basis at 13.3, operating EBITDA up by 20.3%, PAT up by 18.2. So net, if I sum it up, in all-round performance, and this actually leads us into a virtuous growth cycle because higher volume growth gives us. We have our manufacturing plants. 75-80% of our production happens in our own factories. We are able to bring down our unit cost of production, more money for our brands, and which again leads us into a higher revenue growth. A quick snapshot or an understanding of how the EBITDA has moved from last year to this year. There's been an increase in media spend in spite of that, but due to the lower other expenses, we have still been able to increase our EBITDA from 15.8% to 16.7%. Moving on to the talking about the specific brand performance and initiatives. Our category-wise business share stands at fabric care is 37%, dishwash at 38%, HI at 10%, and a personal care at 11%. So fairly well distributed in all the 4 categories in which we are present. Talking about each of the categories, fabric care business, as you know, we have 2 portions. One is main wash and post wash. So main wash, which was struggling for the last 2 quarters, has started doing better with modern trade and canteen store department almost coming back to normal. So that's a good sign. And in terms of the post wash, which is still constrained because offices, schools, colleges have yet to fully resume. But we have seen month-on-month improvement in post-wash, both Crisp and Shine and Ujala Fabric Whitener. Moving on to the next slide on Ujala Fabric Whitener, which is where we are the market leader. We continue to increase our retail visibility, and demand has revived post easing of lockdown. So that's on the Ujala Supreme, and similarly on Crisp and Shine, which is more of a specialty post-wash product. The brand is seeing an improved growth over the previous quarter, and we believe once the lockdown or people are able to move and office goers and school and colleges fully resume, Crisp and Shine will also be fully back to normal. Similarly for Ujala Instant Dirt Dissolver, where the detergent brand, we are only focused on Kerala. It's doing well. It's the largest mid-price detergent brand in Kerala. Similarly on Henko, the growth is back with modern trade and CSD channels almost normalized, and we continue to see a good growth in e-commerce also on Henko brand, and therefore our TV campaigns have been pitched in the target markets to reach out to consumers. Moving on to the dishwash segment, there's been a renewed focus on hygiene, so we are obviously benefiting from the tailwind on that. But alongside with that, we have been taking a very focused distribution drive both on Exo and Pril, and we believe that this growth, what we have seen of 21%, and for the 9 months also we have seen a 20% growth, is sustainable as brand has started doing well with consumer, and few specific actions like us to focus on smaller packs for new consumers entering into the branded dishwash category, that has paid off well. So we remain quite optimistic on our dishwash business going forward. And along with the TV media spends, we have also been doing marketing efforts on digital and social media, and this is to reach out to consumers because through these channels we can experiment a lot of new ideas, different content, messages in a unique way, and so that's done pretty well. The next slide, we have launched Exo All Surface Cleaner. It's a very interesting product because it meets the consumer demand, fills the need for both cleaning as well as it acts as a disinfectant. So we have launched very recently in south of India, and this is, we believe, is going to be a product which will fill in the demand of the consumers going forward. So again, it strengthens our entire Exo portfolio with Exo bar being there. We launched gel, and now with all surface disinfectant, the whole portfolio becomes far stronger. The next slide is to summarize just as one case study in terms of how our innovation journey for any particular category has moved on or has demonstrated over a period of time to fill the consumer current and future demand. So way back in January 19, when we changed the entire Exo brand, we added a ginger twist in that, with that adding a Exo gel and a Pril tamarind and the pouch, and in the last 3-4 months added a vegetable cleaner and now all surface cleaner. So the objective is just to demonstrate and keep emphasizing that we are committed on our innovation journey, and all these products have been very successful to bring the whole potential of the Exo brand, and it also shows excellence in our innovation, and we have always believed in quality of our innovations versus quantity, and we'll continue this journey in dishwash and all other brands where we are present. Moving on to HI, last 2 quarters have been well, and we continue to see healthy growth in this category due to consumers adopting a cautious preventive approach toward health. And also our brand has started doing very well with our specific focus on liquid vaporizers, and which is more season agnostic. So yes, coil remains a larger portion of our business as of now, but liquids have started doing well, and the overall growth in this quarter has been 10%. And we believe we would have gained decent market shares as well. Again, on Maxo, we are committed to higher TV media support and also doing digital campaigns, focusing on few key states to generate optics. Moving on to the personal care, which is around 11% of our total business, but this has done very well, 48%, and completely demand-led secondary growth. This is because primarily personal care is Margo, a 100-year-old brand, and a neem-based soap, hand wash, and face wash. And we have seen a good response from consumers backed by a higher media spend, distribution drives, and finally consumer liking natural-based products like neem. So overall, we continue to invest behind this brand and normal channels, digital medium, and we expect the momentum to continue in this category for us. With that, I will come to the last slide, way forward. We're quite optimistic on our business prospects. We believe we are at an inflection point. So our core essential and hygiene portfolio, with our focus on consumer-driven brand and innovation and investment, focus on technology and new ways of doing distribution, bringing efficiency, we believe we will be able to capture higher market share. And with a focus on strengthening our brand franchise, we expect that we'll be able to deliver profitable volume-led growth. We expect there will be some inflationary pressures in key raw material, primarily in personal care and soaps category, because as we all know, the palm oil prices have been higher. But we will hope to balance it with some price increases, strategic price increases. Bunch of cost optimization initiatives have been undertaken, and maybe balance the trade schemes to support a healthy cash flow management. Further, and finally, with our diversified portfolio, we aim to drive a full potential of our business categories with enhanced media spend and geographical expansion, which will drive sustainable growth for us in the future. So with that, I will finish my presentation. We are happy to answer your questions and clarifications you need. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The first question is from the line of Tejas Shah from Spark Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hi team, thanks for the opportunity and congrats on good set of numbers. From the presentation, it seems multiple interventions have been made in sales and distribution in terms of both expansion and efficiency. So if you can give some insights on the measures taken and any numerical target we are chasing here in terms of distribution expansion.
Hello, this is Jyoti here. So, like you rightly said, yes, there has been multiple interventions, and especially on the general trade as such, we have seen good momentum happening in general trade, and more so led by rural. And what we have done is we have one is our field force who are a committed number of salespeople who go daily and visit these stores. Also, they have specific targets on increasing the number of outlets. That is one is through that, and then there is another set of drives which we undertake through van distribution and things like that. So those are the areas specifically on distribution that we are focusing on. It also, the SKUs that are at 5 rupee and 10 rupee segments also help in doing this thing much more in a better way, because most of our products have that price, the 10 rupee, 5 rupee SKUs, and that also helps us in increasing the net worth to that, the sales to that extent. So it's more because your modern trade and your CSD were, as all of you know, has been hit in the last 1 year. It's improving gradually and almost coming back, but largely led by the general trade sales. So we have witnessed all of this, and most of our brands have that 5 rupee and 10 rupee SKUs, which has helped us, an entry into all these rural areas.
Very, very helpful. Any numerical target in terms of distribution expansion we are running with?
So we are able to, I think the whole objective or the principle for us is to add or improve the efficiency of the existing stores. So if we are able to sell 2 lines or 3 lines, the objective is to sell 4 lines there and increase the productivity of productive calls. So we are more focused on that rather than just taking a numeric number and driving to that point.
Fair enough. Second, if we see the margin trajectory for both this quarter and 9 months this year, we have done very well versus our targets in past, and the source of margin expansion so far has been other expenditure. So anything structural here that we are doing, or is it just the operating leverage which is playing out for now?
So there are both the things playing out. One, obviously, higher volumes give us better utilization at our manufacturing plant, so it helps us in a gross margin level. And also, since the sales force for us is on our payroll, so a higher volume throughput obviously brings down as a percentage on the employee cost. And in addition, for the last few months, as things had become standstill in April, we did look at some of the cost items across the P&L, and we did take some of the steps to optimize the overall cost, which maybe some of them will stay permanently, and as things like travel cost and all, as of now they have at a very far lower number, but they will come back, but not to that extent where we were earlier. So bunch of things at the operating cost plant level, as well as in the sales and other administration expenses.
Sure. So from that point, would there be any change in our long-term guidance or medium-term guidance on margins?
So as of now, for this financial year, as we have guided 15 to 16%, we'll stick to that. For the next year, once we have completed our budget, and we will definitely give a guidance for the next year, maybe in the next analyst call.
We are way above 16 for YTD FY21, so are we saying there will be sharp dip in 4Q for margins?
No, so I think there is no other operating reason. The only thing we're still holding up to that is if we need to increase our media spends, we would rather do that and also build up the base for our next financial year growth. So that's the only one place where we would have increase in our, what we call as investment behind our brands, where the spends will be more than maybe last year what we had seen. And therefore, we'll rather keep the guidance at 15 to 16 to have that leverage with us.
Thanks and all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Harit from Investec. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. Just a couple of questions. Firstly, on the detergent performance, so your entire portfolio, ex Ujala Liquid Blues, how would you have seen the kind of, recovery rate, say, October, November, December? If you could give us some sense on, where the recovery rates were and what are the exits as you're getting out of December or early Jan? Is that entire portfolio, which is, the combination of Ujala and Kerala, Henko, Czech, Mr. White across, are all now on the growth path?
Yes, all of our detergents are back on growth path. One is backed by most channels are now, especially the modern trade. The Henko is mainly modern trade driven, especially the Matic versions and the premium products. So a lot of contribution from modern trade was there. While the other brands are Ujala is specifically in Kerala, and we have seen pretty good growth there. Mr. White also has done well in the regions that it is present, and basically the detergents portfolio is back. Also, post-wash, if you see, Ujala Supreme is also coming back broadly on track. Almost say 90-95% it is coming, and in the next 1 or 2 quarters you will see a positive, much more contribution happening from that brand. Crisp and Shine definitely is a specific product usage. It's a very different specialized product and has much to do with a larger usage of more than whites, as in it's for colors as well. And there you would, we expect that again, once things are open and back to normalcy, that should, come back on track. That is especially, and that is the thing is that Crisp and Shine is specifically right now only in 2 states which have been badly affected by COVID. One is TN and Kerala. So that's one other reason you would see the sales not happening as much as desired, whereas your Ujala Supreme is a national brand, and hence you could see a much more better recovery there.
Got it. Very clear. Very clear. Just my second question was on the disinfectant and hygiene brand. So obviously the Exo dishwash continues to do very well, the entire dishwash portfolio. But I just wanted to get your sense on two pieces. One is, how do you see, T-Shine in the current context of, hygiene requirements as a brand? And secondly, is the disinfectant launch for Exo, how do you see that as a, playing out? Do you think it's a maybe quarter or 2 late compared to, probably what the market desired, or do you think there is a huge opportunity still there? That's it from me.
Yeah. So on T-Shine, we are very well, poised for, better growth there. As of now, T-Shine toilet cleaner is only in Kerala, and the floor cleaners we have launched in the other southern states. And we also, in the current context, from a product delivery, it's far superior compared to the competitors, and has a unique offering there. Also, it has the Corona Kill, 99.9% Corona Kill claim as well, where we have got that claim certified by an international lab. And hence we are, on that hygiene portfolio, we are very strong at. We will see how these states deliver, and then we take a call on whether we go national. So that's on T-Shine. And your second question was on Exo. Was always has always been, always talking about health and hygiene right from the day it was launched way back in 2000, and we were the first antibacterial dishwash bar in the country. And to strengthen the Exo portfolio, we have won the consumers across in the south, and then we went national after 10 years. And we have seen a very good acceptance for the brand, obviously led by media spend, and a good brand ambassador for it. So, and that has proven that, the brand has got fortified in the last 1 year. It is also led by, some in-home consumption, because people were confined to homes. They were having multiple, eating occasions and washing the dishes. So, yes, that is there. But I think a lot of trials also have happened along the 5 rupee, 10 rupee segments, where we were able to reach. So a lot of trials has generated, and we expect and assume that at least from a number of people who would have tried, many of them would stick back to the brand, since it offers a high quality, since we have a very high quality product there. Now, to strengthen that is why we have also entered into a surface cleaner segment. we from a coronavirus thing, maybe we are like you said, a little late into this thing, but we have a very differentiated proposition here and a very different product. So what we do is, it's not just disinfecting. If you would have seen, most of the players in the market are for disinfecting and are alcohol based products that are there. So, and they do maybe one job at a time. And we have here something which a product that delivers and has a truly differentiating factor, and that delivers the cleaning aspect. It cleans the grime and dirt completely off the surfaces. You can use that in your kitchen without any fear. It is totally alcohol free, and we have a 24 hours germ protection as a strong point there. On if you see other players, you will have to use it multiple times in a day, maybe once it gets, and there is no guarantee on the infection thing. Here we have a 24-hour claim. And it also does a 99.9% coronavirus kill as well. So we have a very strong product with us. Everything now leads on to, depends on the investment and how we are able to cut that ice, from a consumer this thing. So with that, we strengthen the EXO portfolio, and EXO will become much bigger there. And that's what we expect, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's all from us.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Percy Panthaki from IIFL Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi everyone. Congrats on a good set of numbers. My question is on the HI segment. So in spite of good top line growth, we are still not making any money on this segment. And basically, I know your strategy is to sort of increase the proportion of vaporizers and reduce the proportion of coils, and that is how the margins for the segment will improve. But if you could give some guidance on timelines herein and what kind of margins we expect from this segment, or I mean, if it is going to be a very long haul on this, would you consider hiving off this segment and concentrating on the parts of your business which are actually value adding?
So thanks, Percy. Percy, as you know, this is one, we are in coil segment, we have a 20% plus market share, and in liquid segment, we have all pan-India basis, we have 8 to 9% market share. So having said that, we have always believed that this is one growth market for us, because in India, the mosquitoes are not going to go anywhere, and it's a very 3-player or 4-player game. So we have done, our machine has started doing well if you're coming only from the margins perspective. One, it is only 10% of our total business, and in that we are shifting more towards liquid, and that has started giving us very good results. So to your point, when will we make profit? Even today also we are making profit on the whole HR business. It's just that we are maybe over investing or investing ahead more on the liquid vaporizer segment. Rajkumar Rao is a brand ambassador. We have been growing in some of our non-core strength markets as well. So having said that, I think another 3 to 4 quarters, you can easily see we will have far better profitability after spending media numbers also in the HI category.
Okay. Second question is on the margins for your business. So among all the listed FMCG companies, our margins are at the lower end of the band. So how do you look at this over a 3-4 year kind of horizon? Is there a secular margin growth every year that is something that you would target, or is it that I mean, you think that with the low hanging fruits are done, and you would rather sort of take margins at this level and reinvest in growth? So some thoughts on that, please.
Yeah. Good question, Percy. So we have, if you see last 4-5 years or 6-7 years, our trajectory of EBITDA growth has moved from 11-12% to 16-17% now. So that is one of the past. Second is, if you compare each of our portfolio with the segment results each of the companies declare, and so each one of them we are on par with, whether it is personal care, whether it is detergents or dishwash. So if you look at each category by category, we are doing a comparable numbers, and we are not on any lower side in any case for any of the categories. If you look at put together, as of now our personal care portfolio is only 10-11%. And hence, if you see most of the other FMCG companies maybe which you are alluding, they have a higher personal care portfolio and therefore leading to a overall higher EBITDA margins. And we are on that journey, so 12-13% we have been able to grow to 16-17%. Personal care business is doing well, liquid vaporizer is doing well, in Pril and where the margins are a little higher, Ujala post-wash where the margins are higher. So there is a clear strategy and a focus for us to go and increase market share and revenues for those brands to increase. Every progressive company would aim for that, and we have shown in the past and our clear strategy. If you see the numbers here also, in the 15% what we have seen, personal care has a higher growth, even in HI liquid vaporizer has a higher growth. So all in all, yes, we would be aiming for a higher margin profile in coming next, as you said, 3 to 4 years. Definitely yes.
Okay, that's all from me. Thanks and all the best.
Thanks, Percy.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Gaurav Jogani from Axis Capital Limited. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir, and congrats on the great set of numbers. Sir, I have 2 questions. The first is, sir, the other expenditure this quarter have been, quite low. So, is there some one-off in there, or is this a sustainable expenditure? I mean, the percentage of sales can be sustainable going ahead.
So there are no one-offs. Because the volume growth is 15%, so as a percentage of other expenses remain more or less same. Factory expenses, other administrative expenses remain same. So as a percentage, they show a lower number. And obviously we have taken some wherever smaller cost optimization we could have done. We have already done in like 2 quarters back. So no one-offs for now. If the volume growth we are able to maintain at these levels, yes, other expenses as a percentage of sales will broadly be the same.
Sure. And sir, another question is with regards to the tax rate. I mean, the tax rate has been, quite lower at this end. So what would be the guidance going ahead for the next quarter and the next year? I mean, what tax rate should be built?
Yeah. No, very clearly, we are continuing to be under MAT for this financial year as well as for next financial year. We can very well take a tax rate of 18 to 19%.
For the full year 21 and 22, sir?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And sir, last question from my end is, the personal care growth, it's been quite encouraging to see the sustained growth rates that we have done. If you would like to, dissect the growth, I mean, in the personal care specifically, what segment is growing and what is the element of price increase here?
So the personal care segment here is largely led by the Margo soap here, which enjoys 100 years brand equity. The others, hand wash is just a year old and it is yet to make its contribution where you can count that. But yes, it's from a growth as perspective, definitely that is also growing and a promising segment there. As well as the face wash. Face wash we had launched only in one state about a year back, and we have plans for it to take it on a larger level. So as of now, it's largely led by our Margo neem soap.
Thank you, ma'am. That's all from me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Shalini from Goldman Sachs Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Shalini, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I just wanted to check, like, ma'am, this growth that we have seen overall, 15% in the FMCGs, that can you just give us how much the volume growth was during the quarter?
So volume growth is also similar, around 15%.
Okay. And okay. And so, like, if you can just say, see, urban, rural has been doing well for everybody. I'm sure it has done well for you also. But if you could just say how much the urban and rural growth has been for you. I mean, break it up, basically.
Yeah. So if we look at it, urban, as you know, most of the metros, Mumbai, Chennai, and some of the larger cities were affected both from general trade as well as on the modern trade business, which in the last this quarter, they have become more or less normal. And so if you see now also, rural continues to be on a higher growth. If you want a number, it can be 1.3:1. The growth in urban is 1, then the rural growth is 1.3.
Okay. And sir, so would it be correct to say that now you are basically back to pre-COVID levels? That's correct to say?
Yes, that's right. I think from our supply chain, we got aligned by May, June of this year, and now from all the channels and brands, more or less, yes, we are back to pre-COVID. And as the trends are good, the brands are doing well. The recovery for us, or the performance for us, has been far better.
Okay. And so lastly, like on receivables, basically the modern trade has done very well, and there the receivables, I believe, are higher. So, I mean, would you say your net working capital is higher, or what would it be? Like 20-21 days, or really higher?
No, so general trade remains on cash and carry. Modern trade is generally 21 to 30 days, which has been in line with what we were earlier. CSD is one which is on the higher number of days, but as of now, it's there are no signs of worries, and it's all very much in line with what has always been there. So working capital has been pretty good from the last 2-3 quarters.
Okay, and channel inventory, I mean, is channel inventory lower this quarter than what it has been in the previous quarter, or what is the channel inventory like?
Yeah, so channel inventory with our general trade distributors is in the range of 2 to 3 weeks, and which is what they need to keep to do the servicing to the retail market.
Okay. Yeah, and the outlook for your main categories like dishwash and basically your fabric wash. What is the outlook there? I mean, we have some growth in the first 9 months. So would you say this kind of growth will continue?
So yes, like you said, we have seen good growth in the dishwash segment. Like I said earlier, it's been one is brand driven. There has been strong demand for the brands. Second thing is it is also led by in-house people staying in-house, and obviously multiple number of dishwashing that is happening. But like I said, we were able to do lot many trials which has happened in the 5 rupee, 10 rupee segments in both the brands, and more coming from rural. So where we feel that whoever has tried our product definitely would stay back, majority of them, because one is we offer great quality product along with the germ kill proposition that we have. So yes, long term, led with brand investments and distribution, yes, we are on a strong wicket as of now from a dishwash portfolio, and detergents is coming back to its original levels, I mean pre-COVID levels, and we as we see modern trade and e-com doing well now, and they are also poised for growth. So from there we'll be getting our premium products where we are in the detergents category. We will be seeing those growths as well, and the other mass segment detergents will be led by GT.
Okay. And ma'am, lastly, what is the plan for debt reduction? I mean, generally, will you be paying back 100 crores or so each year, or will it be lesser, like 50 crores or so each year?
Yeah. So, Shalini, as of September 30th, our standalone balance sheet was in net cash, and on a consol basis, we were at around 50-60 crores, and we hope by end of the year, March 21, we should, on a consolidated basis, also debt free.
Oh, okay. Gross debt free.
I'm saying net debt free. Yeah.
No. Gross debt will be will it be lower by 50 crores or something?
Yeah. So it will be 60 to 80 crores gross debt, which will be at sub 5%.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Loans, so there where we have a very fine rate, and we'd rather continue that, but that will be very, very minimal at around 50-60 crores.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kaustubh Pawaskar from Sharekhan by BNP Paribas. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Most of my questions have been answered. Just one on this small pouch strategy, which you are focusing on in the dishwashing space. So what is the current contribution? Because I think you have launched it in July. So what is the current contribution from small pouches in the dishwashing space, and where do you see this over the period of time?
Yeah, so the pouches will help us drive, scale in the rural and the tier 2, tier 3 cities. And right now, what we are doing is we have just we had the pouch packs in the beginning as well. We have just strengthened it and have launched it in few more places. It won't be a sizable number right now, but going forward, like I said, all these actions that we have taken from a distribution point of view, that will, these are the segments that will be the segments that will drive growth for us.
Right. So, is it helping you to improve penetration in rural or tier 2, tier 3 towns, especially the distribution penetration? If not the exact rate, but at least from the distribution perspective, it is helping you to improve the penetration?
I didn't get your question.
In the sense, since you have launched small packs, is it helping you, to get more traction in stores?
Yes.
On the inventory.
Yes. So we had launched a Prill Tamarind, a new variant last year, and we are seeing huge growth coming in from that pouches, especially in the south as well. And good demand led. So we are seeing that kind of success, and we will be taking it to the entire country. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Simranjeet from SMC Global Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. See, I have certain questions which I want to ask. First of all, what is the percentage of advertisement revenue means percentage as a means going forward? Because I was looking through your numbers, it is close to 7.3% in this quarter, which has sharply jumped from 5.95%. So I just want to ask that, my first question is that, will it be 7.3 or more than that in the upcoming quarters? Second question is, as I was in your previous call also last quarter, you have stated that your CSD department sales are not doing good, and still you have stated it is just started improving. So I want to know what is the percentage of the CSD revenue in your total sales, and thirdly, you have posted a volume growth of 15%. What is that driving this volume growth, and will it be sustainable going forward? If you can answer first of all these three questions.
Yeah. So first question, ad percentage, yes, it has increased from previous year 6% to 7.5, and that's part of a very thought-through process that we are focusing on our distribution, we are doing innovation, and we have seen that even in this quarter when our media spends have gone up, they have paid off. So yes, incrementally going forward, we would like to increase our media spends, and the percentage can be, it will be keeping in mind the overall EBITDA guidance what we have. So that is on the A&P cost. Second question you said is on modern trade and CSD. CSD is and modern trade put together is around 20% of our total business, and so that is one ratio which in recent times, the last 2-3 quarters had marginally come down because modern trade and CSD were not doing that well, but on a medium-term basis, that ratio will remain same. And the third question of yours was, sorry.
What is that thing? What is the driving force behind this FMCG volume growth of 15%? And will it be sustainable going forward, or is little bit hiccups will be there at the end of the day in the upcoming quarters in the FMCG volume growth I'm talking about?
Yeah. So if you see what we expect, our growth is going to be a steady growth. For the last 2 quarters, you've seen much better performance from our side. And if you even look at it, all the building blocks were there. Now we are even strengthening them. And we believe that going forward also we should have much better growth than what we have seen now. And it's going to be an all-round performance for us.
Great. And sir, last question is, what is the percentage of your sales from the e-commerce segment? If you can give some that number in terms of percentages. Yeah.
Yeah. So a year back it used to be 1.5%. Now it's around 3% of our total revenue.
Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And all the best to all the team and to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Kaushik Poddar from KB Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I happen to be from the Kolkata, the eastern side of the country. I don't see much of your presence in the retail shops and not even on the e-commerce sites. So what's your thought on this issue?
So which brands are not there? I would want to know that.
I don't see, for example, I have seen Margo and Pril. Other brands, EXO and all this thing, I haven't seen as much as it should be there. It isn't available as much.
Okay.
For example.
So it should be there, sir. The only thing is EXO is coming from East is a big contribution for us, and it's a very big growing brand for us. After South, East is the next in lead for us from an EXO point of view. So definitely, I would want to know which are the retail outlets specifically that you have not seen it, and if you could send that list, we'll do the needful if any miss is there from our side. Yeah.
Okay. And even on the e-commerce sites also, I don't see many of your products. I mean, is there any kind of reason? I mean, whatever the local e-commerce sites, whether it's a big basket or anything of that sort. In eastern region, I don't see much of your products.
Okay, noted, sir. Big basket, we are there. We restrict ourselves mainly in grofers because if you go by their principle, they say everyday lowest prices, and obviously we have certain margins to be followed, and not all our SKUs will be there in that specific e-commerce channel. Rest most of the places we are there, sir, and whatever you have said, we have noted. We will try and see if whether we can take that and do the needful. Yeah.
Thank you. And my last question is, in your personal care, the growth has been huge. I mean, are you doing something to really ramp it up to say 20% of your turnover?
Yes, sir. We have. One is, like I said, again, everything finally the answer leads to distribution, and we are very much focused on that. and especially the in the personal care segment also, the 10 rupee is doing really well for us. We'll be taking that to many other places as well, and definitely we will see a lot of momentum happening on that brand, especially also we are in the natural space, and if you see in the last 2-3 years that natural space has been doing well, and more so this year, and we have neem as the main ingredient there, which also is a hygiene related ingredient, and hence we are seeing good growth.
Yeah, I mean Margo, for example, it used to be a very popular brand in eastern part of the country. So I thought that maybe some more promotion will help.
Yes, sir. We do have a lot of promotional SKUs as well, and this year we celebrate 100 years, sir, and you will see a lot of activities on the brand.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I will now hand the conference over to Mr. Ullas Kamath for closing comments.
Thank you very much, every participant, and we have shown a robust top line and growth, gross margin, EBITDA, and net profit, and hope to continue to have the same momentum. And if you have any further questions, you can please contact Sanjay Agarwal, and thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you very much. On behalf of ICICI Securities Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.